Hello, my name is David Turner and this is another Lunar Poetry Short. Today I'm in Wetherspoons pub in Liverpool Street in London. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, 23rd of December, and the reason I'm saying that is because this is attempt 2 at an interview with Fikayo Balogun. We recorded this yesterday at my house in Camberwell and I lost the audio file. And we're just going to try and do it again. Hello, Fikayo.
Hi, David.
Thank you for meeting me.
You owe me chocolate for using
Yeah,
that.
I think so. As always, we're going to start with a poem, and as it's the 23rd of December, we're going to start with something Christmassy.
Okay, this is a Christmas poem. I just wrote it, so I don't really have a title for it. Maybe Christmas jingle. I don't know. Maybe you tell me what you think and get a title for me. Alright, here we go. +2, 3, 4, 10 more numbers, and the scream cuts through the silence of my room. Hello. Clustered with molecules of children's laughter, mothers' cautions, breaking bones and barking dogs seeps through the speaker. I try to pick our words. Like sand in salt, it fades in and out like our tongue is on life support. We're only hours apart, attached by disconnected circuits. We are frozen in space. Hello. Hello, hello, you're breaking up, hello. The thunder runs through my chest. I'm a child again, wondering if she'll be back. Her feet slapping the marble floor replaces the chaos. I can barely hear. Her voice is sealed in robotic static. She can barely hear me. I'm the uncomfortable silence. After 10 seconds, that seems like hours, I hear her, clear as crystal. Sorry, the noise is much. The smile roasted in her voice bounces off the wall, painting it in colors of red like the blood of the chicken now being crushed like iceberg by the titanic mouths chatting behind her. Merry Christmas, she says. Thank you, Ma, I answer, fearing if I say the traditional same to you, Ma, I may open the river of pain slapping the border of my throat. If I say same to you, I may be lying. No, not like that. You see, I love my mom to bits. But the bits of frozen chicken from Asda in the dirty plate by the corner is brewing a must of envy. And as much as I want to wish her a Merry, Merry Christmas, I wish her Christmas was merry by my side, in this land of people that don't look or talk like me. 5 Christmas away from home, Abike, she says. Her pierced heart rises through the way she called me, and I see this is a two-way street. A double-edged sword slicing us both apart, making us bleed on the thirsty ground of words not spoken, hugs dried like expired milk. We make small talk. Did you go for mass, she asks. Yes, I lied. It wasn't really a lie. I got to the church, and it didn't seem like Christmas. You see, the Christmas mass I know is a battleground, with armies of bright gilly, spread like fishes on land, dancing to the rain of drums and tambourine. Children covered in glitters running around in dresses but months ago. That is the only Christmas present they'll get. This will join the collection of party and church dresses at the bottom of their boxes. We don't do Christmas trees, you see. We go to the market and buy robes worthy of princes and princesses for our children. We select a befitting attire and then go to church to dance like David danced. Trust me when I say mine is a praising country. We kill chickens and cook rice. We dust the mortar and boil the spinach. Yes, I didn't lie. I went. The church just didn't feel like Christmas. I turned back when all I saw at mass was hoodie and old people barely murmuring hymns. So I called Mother to hear a familiar melody and feel the merriness of Christmas. I miss you, Ma, I say. I know that, but Christmas is for families, and I mean every stranger you smile at today, she says. So I went back home, carried the box of chocolates I was saving for later. I put on my mink coat and stepped into the empty streets. Oh, sweet snow, fresh, cold hair on my face. I walk offering every soul I meet a smile and a chocolate. An hour later, I arrive at a location, sweating, an empty box of chocolate and an empty smile. Oh my goodness, Fikayo, your hands are frozen, my friend says. I fall into her warm hands and flood her with all the love I have left. When Mother calls tonight, I'll be wishing her a Merry Christmas and sing her this Christmas song. Keresimesi Kérésìmesì, Kérésìmesì dé, Kérésìmesì dé. A bí olùgbàlà kan fún wa ní ìlú Bethlehem. Ẹni tí ó jọba ayérayé. Àwa sì ti rí ìràwọ̀ rẹ̀ láwọ̀sánmọ̀. Àwa sì wá láti mú ẹ̀bùn fún ọba tàbí lónìí. Mo mọ ẹ̀bùn kan wá fún ọba tàbí. Mo mọ ẹ̀bùn kan wá fún Jésù. Mo mọ ẹ̀bùn kan wá látọ̀nà jíjìn. Rere ohun kékeré mo mú wá fún ọ. Bàbá ṣá gbọ́ ọpẹ́ mi. Kérésìmesì, Kérésìmesì dé, Kérésìmesì dé.
Thank you so much. That was
Thank
really
you.
beautiful. Thank you.
Oh wow. I don't think I know how to sing that well, but well.
It's
that-
a little bit. No, you're singing voice very nice. Much better. I'm glad it's you singing and not me. It wouldn't have gone as well as that.
But okay, I'll take your word for
Yeah.
it.
So first question, as ever, is why poetry?
Why poetry? Okay. I was a quiet, shy kind of child, and I had two brothers, and I was the last one, and I kind of most of the time always be by myself, and I just started writing really because it made more sense for me to write down things. And when I got into secondary school, which is what you guys call high school, I discovered that what I was writing was a little bit, it was like poetry, because I was writing in the way, like, I can't really write directly because then that would leave me open, and I really am a kind of private person, and with poetry I can weave what I'm thinking into words, and people don't really know what I'm feeling, but they can still relate to it because that's the way poetry works. You write something from a personal perspective and it means something to you, but when other people read it, even if they don't understand what you were feeling at the time you wrote it, it works with them. It resonates on another level with them, and that's what poetry, in terms of, is the only form of writing. In my opinion, is the only form of writing where you write to express yourself and still write to hide your feelings.
Yeah, it's a funny mix, isn't it? You're trying to be
Yeah.
open, but also a lot of the time, because I think if it's purely confessional, it's not very accessible to other people. It needs to be a bit more generalised, doesn't it, for people to connect with it, maybe.
I think it's sometimes when you write, because it's hard for people to separate writers from their works. So everyone always thinks you're writing about yourself, or you're writing about your parents, or you're writing about people close to you when you write. And sometimes it makes you really feel vulnerable because you're naked. It's all you're thinking in your head that you put down. And writing that in prose it means you're writing down everything you're thinking, and it's too open. But with poetry, you can always, it gives you that freedom to express it. So if you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm really feeling very shitty right now, if you write it and say that you're really feeling very shitty, that is you coming out and telling people, all right, this is what I'm feeling. But when you're writing poetry, you don't write that you're feeling shitty. You could just write that, oh, my heart is blue. Your heart is blue could mean so many things. It could mean you're tired. It could mean you're feeling shitty. It could mean whatever. Yeah. So it's left to you to interpret it. Like, if you feel you want to tell people the story behind it, then it's up to you. And if you don't feel like you want to tell them the story, then you don't have to. But when they read it, they would find somewhere in their mind, and it would still make sense to them. And you don't really have to say what you're thinking.
Yeah. And which writers or poets have influenced you the most?
When I was growing up, I read a lot of Wole Soyinka's work, which is a Nigerian writer, and one poem that probably stayed with me, and probably I would say is one poem that really was at the beginning of my journey, writing journey, is To Look At To, I think is by Robert Frost. And those are the two people that I think I would say have started influencing my writing. And along the way, I've read other writers and authors, and they've in turn influenced my writing. Like when I did my master's in creative writing at Rompton University, and one poet that I really worked with was Gwendolyn Brooks. I loved her work, and one poem that I really loved that she wrote was "We're Real Cool." I love that poem. I love it a bit. So from the beginning of my writing, I've had different writers influence the way I write, really, and I'm always looking out for new writers. And the spoken, it was last year that I discovered spoken word, which is great. It seemed like I can't remember who said it, but someone said it seemed like theater and poetry kind of got together, had a baby, and called it spoken word, which is, I think, is Sarah Kay. But I think that is just the best way to describe it, because I love acting, but I guess my parents didn't really like me going into acting. Though my father is really, my dad is a lawyer, so you've got to state your case really well. If you can state your case with all the facts and make him see your point, he will let you do anything. But you've got to just be able to argue it out with him, and that is really a difficult thing. But so spoken word was it was great. I mean, like, it's me writing, and I could stand there and act out what I'm writing. And on the spoken word thing, there are a lot of great writers and spoken word artists out here in London, and believe outside London. I went to Edinburgh, and there were so many people. I was blown away. So a lot of writers knew who would have really influenced my writing, and I'm sure I'll still discover more people.
That's the thing with that's obviously how we met, was spoken word scene in London, and probably at the Poetry Cafe we met.
Yeah, Poetry Cafe.
Most poets meet at the Poetry Cafe in London. But you just as soon as whenever you feel like you know what's going on, about 10 new people come along. And
I know,
they're just brilliant.
There was always really new people. I know. You get there and you see a new person. Sometimes you get there and you see some people and you're like, all right, I think I can definitely do better than that. And then sometimes you see some new people that you've never seen before, and they'll be like, oh, I'm a spoken word virgin. But when they come on stage, you're like, oh my God, why didn't I think about that? Like, seriously, there are really a lot of people that are writing and hiding it on their bed. And I think a lot of people should find the boldness to kind of come out and show their writing, because we've got a lot to say. I think everyone's got a lot to say.
So speaking of spoken word, we'll have another reading.
Okay, this poem is titled Tonight. Tonight is one of those nights. You know, the ones where every minute is an acid bath. Questions fall and open wounds, the sweat of an empty room seeps through the strike of the clock. And though work feels like clashes, going home is a gunshot to the heart. I look to the cloud to soak me in the rain of your voice. Wash away the grains of your absence, boring into my thoughts, sending me on a spiral stairs of tears and laughter along the rim of fading memories. The stars start to form your face and stops, like a broken swing, leaving me to guess if that little star by the moon is the glitter in your eyes or the sparkle of your teeth. If the hugging stars are really you, or the heavenly bodies having a laugh at my tears. Even words, befriending each other in the pub of poetry, have lost their warmth. They pour on the page like cold wind, leaving the parts of ashes and hanging on my tongue, a taste that makes me gag and throw up crystals of kisses we once shared. Tonight, words fail me. They fall without a sound, bouncing off the wall that still has the tint of your shadow. You're the thin hair, whistling everywhere and nowhere. You're the silence I hear in the echoes I wear in my heels. Tonight is one more night I had to my collection of unwanted mirrors of memories. With broken skin and pierced vein, I'll find the strength to move on. till another night like this comes along. But this is my official notice to you and to God who tied us together with the rope of two horses galloping towards different directions. I'm stretching so thin I'm about to snap. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we spoke a bit yesterday about the fact that you, growing up in Nigeria, you spoke Yoruba at home, but your education was in English at school.
Yes.
Could you just maybe explain a bit about how your literature education was, and how it was divided between African writers and, I suppose, European and American English language writers?
I think we did mainly European writers, actually, because Nigeria was colonized by Britain. Okay, so the country is like, we've got like 250 ethnic groups and we all speak different languages, eat different food, wear different clothes. The official language is English, and so most of the schools, except the ones in the villages, most of the schools speak English, they teach in English, and well, my parents spoke Yoruba to us because if they didn't, we probably won't know how to speak our language. We spoke English in school, and then we are not allowed to speak you're not allowed to speak your native language in school. In some schools, you've got to pay like #1 or something if you speak your native language in school. So you're not allowed to, even though we still do. Yeah. So the literature, it's when you really start to deal with literature, is in the educational system. The secondary school, that is your high school, is 6 years. You've got 3 years junior classes and then 3 years senior classes, and that's when you do the literature. So you've got your syllabus for the 3 years, and you do your final exam in the third year. So throughout that 3 years, you go. We have the African prose and the non-African prose. So the African prose are by African writers, not necessarily Nigerian, but African. So Ghana, Nigeria, or any other African country. And the non-African is obviously from the West. And we've got the prose, we've got the drama. Then we have every syllabus has a Shakespeare in it. So it's either Merchants of Venice. I did Merchants of Venice, or Othello, or any other Shakespeare drama. And then you've got poetry. So we might have like 4 poems by African writers, and then 4 non-African writers poems. So that is studied for the whole 3 years, and then in the final year, the questions come from all these poems and texts that you've studied, and you've got to answer these questions. So it's a mixture of both, really. You've got African and non-African in all 3 genres of writing.
Yeah. And are there any African writers in particular that you would recommend to people listening to check out? Because I'm sure there'll be plenty of people interested in trying to hunt some new writers down.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, really. One person that everyone probably knows is Wole Soyinka. His writing is great. One of his drama that is well known is Gods Are Not to Blame. I think it's been done to death. Like everyone does it. And so his writing are quite good. Is a political person, so most of his writings are kind of a little bit political. And there's a Niyi Ogundare, Femi Oshofison, Ben Okri. Yeah, he's also a great writer. And there's a Nigerian writer that when I was in secondary school, I never knew he was Nigerian. I used to think he was not a Nigerian because his name is J.P. Clarke. You never would think that was a Nigerian. But yeah, he's I think I studied some of his poems in school, and he's also a great writer. And one of the modern writers now is Chimamanda. Writings have been made into films, like was it Half of the Yellow Song? So yeah, those are writers that I think everyone should check out. Their writings. Much. And I'm also a writer that you should check out my writings.
Yeah, definitely check out Fikayo.
Definitely check me out.
Yeah, actually, We'll mention your blogs and stuff, but we'll have one final reading first, and then we'll tell people where they can check out your work.
This poem is titled "Lost," and is to everyone, every country that's been taken without consent. There we go. The sky was dressed in spotted darkness above flashes of emerald. The breeze turned leaves into jellyfishes, ran its hands through the wall like a child does with too much sugar. It was that night I stared into the face of love. As he pulled me by my crown, pinned my face to the rocky scales of the baobab tree, and yanked my skirt away. Cold wind rushed between my legs, flushed my will, my freedom through my mouth with every scream of no! Don't! Please! But he slammed away till he released his poison inside of me. A toxic glow exploding through my veins till I became still. Crushed berries was my bed, dead leaves hugged my naked body. I could feel the sting of 1,000 bees between my legs. I watched the heads soak up the slimy liquid dripping from my core. You woke the sleeping dragon with your giggles, love, he said. I wanted to scream, don't tell me it's my fault, that your mind is a sinkhole. I came to find love. No one warned me that men had become wolves, devouring every beating heart. No one sent me the memo. Or was it lost in the mail like my soul? I wanted to scream, but my God had lost the will for words. I watched him zip up the murder weapon and laughed. His laughter flying ahead of his thirsty boots as he beat a path away from my battered soul. I died that summer evening. My headstone read, beloved daughter, she loved berries. I was buried deep on a wasted land with no berry trees. The priest said I died an unholy death. Like it was my fault that no one saw that I died long before I became dead. The world asked me to speak. I said, words are dogs without bites, bees without sting, kings without crowns. Words cannot describe the injustice that's been done to my soul. They said, words will buy you justice. I told them, I come from a line of novelty, a city of virgin maidens, frail fairies, white hills and red mountains with unicorns. But what has been taken from me is my life. My soul, ripped from its very roots, have disappeared into oblivion. Words cannot bring me back. Thank you. This seemed to be like honor.
Thank you very much, Fikayo. Thank you very much, Fikayo. And anyone wants to check out your work, they can get you at www.fikayobalogun.wordpress.com.
Yes.
And the links will be underneath the video.
Yeah, thank you.
And all the names that you recommended as well. We're going to put links to all the other writers and stuff. So,
okay.
thanks very much.
Thank you very much, David.
Bye bye.
Save this.